Hello boys and girls! It's time for my weekly video again. So today we're going to talk about Unit 5, Week 4. And so these are some of our skills and our concepts and our strategies that you're going to be working with while you're reading Week 4. I like to introduce it this way. Remember, I'd like you to watch the whole thing, and then if you want to come back and watch certain parts for clarification, that's fine, or for review, that's great. You will be working on some of these skills during the week with worksheets. You will be maybe helping me out with some Screencastify videos and also reading some new stories. So, I hope you enjoy this. This week we're on how can we protect Earth. So we'll be reading stories about what we can do to help our Earth, how we can help the land, how we can help the air. Alright, I think you'll enjoy these stories, and I think we all need to do our best to take care of where we live. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some of our skills. Now, I need to review something with you because I noticed some of you struggled last week with the ooh sound. Remember, when we're trying to pick words that have the same vowel sound, we have to listen to them. We cannot look at how they're spelled. I sent out the spelling options video last week, and you could see how many different ways there are to spell certain sounds, and that's what makes English kind of complicated sometimes. So you really need to listen to the sound, not necessarily look at the way it's spelled. So I wanted to review with you down here the two dots above an O, and you don't need to know that, but that just stands for the ooh sound, like in school. So there were lots of words that had ooh in them, like true, okay, that's spelled with a U-E. Suit, that's spelled with a U-I. There were lots of ways of spelling ooh, E-W, like in chew. I'm not going to go over them all, but you need to listen. True, chew, moon. Those words all have ooh. And then the other sound of double O, that's an O with one little dot, and that's like in book. So that's why I tell you to remember school book, because you'll remember the two sounds of double O. But there were other ways of making that sound. We did it in would and should and could with an OU. Okay, we also did it just with a U, like in put or push. So some of you were having a hard time hearing the difference between ooh and And if you need to go back and watch that spelling options video again, you should do that, alright, to practice those sounds. Now, we have more variant vowels this week. Great, you can do it. Variant vowels just means a variant vowel, okay, makes a certain vowel sound, but you can have a lot of different ways of making that vowel sound. Just like a lot of different ways of making ooh last week and last week. So the sound we're working with this week, it's an O with like a little kind of triangle, I don't know what you call that, arrow on top of it. And all that stands for is the ah sound. Can you say ah? Alright, good job. Now I should have let you figure it out, but I didn't. I told you, you're lucky. So we have lots of different ways of spelling ah. Now, they say it's not a short O because they put a different kind of symbol above it. And if I were a linguist, I'm sure English is much more complicated than I even understand. But to me, it sounds very much like a short ah. When I say ah, it sounds like octopus. It sounds like a short O. Alrighty, so let's go over here. I want you to read the words after I say them, and I want you to listen to the vowel sound. So say ball, call, father. Now you will notice that the A in all three of those words is making the ah sound. It is not saying ah, the short A sound. It is not saying A, the long A sound. It is saying the ah sound. Okay, another way, now we've practiced these already on our vowel team chart. AW can say aw, repeat these after me. Straw, yawn, awful. So again, AW, you know I should be underlining these, so I'm going to do this. Here's just the A and the A and the A saying aw. And then in this column we have the AW, AW, AW saying aw. Look, it's in the final position, the medial position, and the initial position. And it is saying aw. Going on. AU can say aw. On our vowel team poster, when we did that, it was AU August aw. And it was AW saw aw. Alright, but we have some other words here. We have sauce. Here's the AU saying aw. We have fault. Here's the AU saying aw. We have cause. Here's the AU saying aw. So again, one way, two ways, three ways to say aw, but we're not done yet. We have a whole nother row. So let's look down here. A-U-G-H. Now you will notice it does start with the A-U, like here A-U, but we've added the G-H, and we don't hear the G-H. Those letters are silent. But here we go. I want you to say caught, taught. You know, those are interesting. I'm going to tap those out, or let's go ahead and chop them instead. Watch. K, aw, t, caught. Even though we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters, we only have 3 sounds. K, aw, t, caught. All right. Same thing with taught. Here, do this with me. Ready? T, aw, t, taught. 3 sounds, but a whole bunch of letters that you have to remember to put in there to spell it correctly. I'm going to underline the A-U-G-H. The A-U-G-H. Okay? That is what we call a grapheme. I haven't really said that right in the other ones. I don't know if anybody's picked up on that. But graphemes can be groups of letters that make one sound. Or they can be one letter that makes one sound. But here we have A-U-G-H saying aw. Okay, going on. O-U-G-H. Again, this is one group of letters, one grapheme, that is making one sound. And so this word right here is thought. Now, if I were to go ahead and chop it, it'd be aw, t, thought. 3 phonemes, 3 sounds. Aw, t, thought. But look at all these letters we have in here. Oh my goodness. We got TH saying th. We have OUGH saying aw, and then it ends with a t sound. We've got to remember all those are in there. Here's the word bought. It rhymes with thought. And again, we have the OUGH saying aw. Going on. The AL can also say aw. So our example here is the word talk. Now in some words you hear the L, in other words you don't. Our 2 examples here, you do not hear the L. And if you tap out, I'll do it this way down my arm this time, talk, t, aw, k, talk. So we only have 3 sounds. The AL is just saying aw. And here's the word chalk. I'll do it down my arm. Ch, aw, k, chalk. All right, so it's the AL saying ah. Now, I hope you don't have as much trouble this week completing some of those worksheets with the ah sound in them. Again, these are called variant vowels. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways of spelling the same exact sound. Remember, you're listening to the sound, not necessarily looking at the spelling, all right? So, do your best with this, and we'll come back and review it again sometime, all right? Going on. Number 2, vowel team syllables. Now, we need to review what a syllable is. A syllable has a vowel sound in it. It can be produced by one vowel or a couple vowels working together, and every time your mouth drops, you have a syllable. So if I say Eastman, my last name, it would be Eastman, 2 syllables. So you can put your hand under your chin and see how many times it drops, or you can do it on your arm. Eastman, Eastman, 2 syllables. Try your name at home and see how many times your mouth drops, or count it on your arm. Some of you might have 1 syllable. If Samantha was going to go by Samantha, it'd be Samantha, 3 syllables. If she just went by Sam, Sam. It'd just be 1 syllable. So try it. You can pause me, remember. Okay, boy, this is getting into another video I am going to do. And it's called the 6 syllable types. And it kind of culminates, with everything that we've done this year. And if you know the 6 syllable types, then you can read about any word that comes along. So I've got one still coming your way that's going to be really interesting for you. For right now, we're working on these words here, and every single one of these words has 2 syllables, so your mouth is going to drop twice. And all your book is saying is, we don't split up vowel teams. So think back to your vowel team poster. All those vowel teams had 2 vowels side by side, and they were working together to make 1 sound. So you never, when you divide a word and your mouth drops, you wouldn't divide, I shouldn't say never because I've gotten myself in trouble with that before. There are a few times where you do divide vowels, but they're not really a vowel team that you're familiar with, like lion, we divide the I and the O, but most of the time we do not divide vowel teams. So when we look at these, I want you to say cartoon, cartoon. Put your hand under your chin, cartoon. How many syllables? If you said 2, you're correct. I think I already told you that. Now, to divide it, we are going to divide it between the 2 middle consonants. I'm going to scoop it, so it's going to be cartoon. Those are our 2 syllables. And the double O is our vowel team here. Do you see it? I'll just underline it. Double O, vowel team. And then this syllable is our bossy R. And we've learned about that already, the AR. So we wouldn't divide that either. All right, I'll just underline that here too. So you can see bossy R syllable, vowel team syllable. All right, going on. Explain. Explain. I hope I will explain this correctly to you. Explain. Do you see our vowel team here? What is it? If you said AI, you're correct. There's our vowel team, AI. And it's saying A. And we would never divide that. All right? So here's where we're going to divide this word. Explain. 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 That's where our mouth drops. Remember, we have to have at least 1 vowel, if not 2, in a syllable. You can never have a syllable without a vowel. Going on, this word, can you read it to me? I'm doing all the work here. You got to pick it up a little bit. This is a number. All right, if you said 13, you're right. So look at it. We have a vowel team here. We keep those vowels together in the same syllable. So this is where we're going to divide it. 13. 13. Watch me. 13. 13. 2 syllables. And look here. We have bossy R here. We have a vowel team here. Bossy R syllable, vowel team syllable. And I didn't say here, this is our short E, this is our closed syllable here, and explain. Going on. What is that word? That's actually a compound word. The compound word, remember, is 2 words we put together to make 1 word. We do not drop any of the letters. So try that one for me. Here it is. Seaweed, seaweed. See is a word, weed is a word. We can put it together. Seaweed for a compound word. All right. Do you see the vowel team here? Double E saying E. And the vowel team here, EA saying E. We wouldn't split those. Okay, we don't put like part of it over here and part of it over here. No, C stays together and weed stays together. This is a vowel team syllable and this is a vowel team syllable. We'll do another one here. This is a month of the year. That's why I have capitalized it. It is a proper noun. Can you read it for me? All right, if you said August, you're right. And look here. Here's a vowel team, AU. Oh, and we talked about that right over here. AU says aw. And then we have gust. So here it is. August. This is a closed syllable. That's a short U. All right? August. August. 2 syllables. I guess we'll go ahead and do this. This word, what do you think? You sew with it. If you said needle, you're correct. Oh, look, we practiced this. This has that consonant L-E syllable in it. Listen to it. Needle. Where do you think I should divide that? All right, it's right here. Needle. Here's our vowel team. We're not going to separate it into 2 syllables. And then dull. So vowel team syllable, consonant L-E syllable type. And the last one. Go ahead and read it for me. Okay, if you said enjoy, you're correct. Where do you think I might divide that? Listen. Enjoy. Enjoy. 2 syllables. Think about where I should skip it. If you said here, enjoy, you are correct. Good job. Here's our vowel team, OY. It's actually a diphthong. It's making that funny oi sound, but it's still a vowel team. All right, we have 2 vowels side by side. And this syllable is a closed syllable with a short E. Enjoy. Now you will learn more about this with me on another video. Let's move on. Number 3, pronoun plus verb contractions. We have talked about contractions. Contractions are when you put 2 words together and you pop some letters out and you put an apostrophe in the letter's place. You could have 1 letter that's taken out. You can have several letters that are taken out. You can't just put any old 2 words together and make a contraction. There's special words that you put together. It's just a way of shortening it up. So let's look at these together. And again, boys and girls, if you want to do this on some paper at home or on a dry erase board, I should have said that at the beginning, but you're more than welcome to just put this on pause and get what you need and do it with me. Okay? Going on, here we are. I am. We have 2 words. I am. I am. I think you know by now because I say it like every time. All right, I am Mrs. Eastman. So we're going to keep the first word, I, and if you'd like to do this with me, just pause me so that you can get something to write on. Here's I. Now last time I said we always keep the first word. I should know better than to say always, because with English, that's really not the case. All right? We learned that when we put will and not together, and that went to won't. Most of the time, almost always, but not always, you keep the first word. Now, I am going to get rid of the A, and I'm going to put an apostrophe in and an M. I will keep the M. So I am Mrs. Eastman goes to I'm Mrs. Eastman. All right? This is the contraction of I am. I'm. Going on. You are. You are. What do you think the contraction of you are is? If you said you're right. Now I am writing these with all capital letters, thinking that maybe they would come first in a sentence. But there are times you would write them with lowercase letters, except for the I am. Anything that has I in it when you're talking about yourself needs to be capitalized, no matter where it is. Okay, but here, you are. I'm going to keep you, Y-O-U. I'm going to take out the A and put in an apostrophe and keep the R-E. Okay? You are. So I can say, I'm Mrs. Eastman, you're Brady. Okay? Or you're Gin Girl. It stands for you are. You are. You know you did it right if you can put you are in instead of your, if they're interchangeable. The contraction and the two words that make the contraction. All right? So if it's you are Colin, or you could say you're Colin with the apostrophe. Going on. We are. We are. I will keep the we, going to get rid of the A, put in apostrophe, and put the R-E. We're. We're. Try to say it with we. So if I can say we are working hard together as a class, I can shorten that up and say we're working hard together as a class. Moving on. They are. You're going to keep the first word they. Okay, we're going to get rid of that A, put an apostrophe in, and keep the R-E. We have to be careful how we say these. I try to say it there, there, there. There, I think the hardest part about this is coming up with sentences. They are my friends. We write it this way, T-H-E-Y, apostrophe R-E, if we want to make the contraction of they are. Over here, we have a word, a pronoun, all right, with is. So, he is. What would that go to? If you said he's, you're right. Here's the H-E. I'm keeping the first word. I'm getting rid of the I and putting in an apostrophe and putting the S. He's. He's coming over for dinner. He is coming over for dinner. Next one, she is. What do you think the contraction of she is? Is. If you said she's, that's right. Keep the first word. Get rid of that I, put an apostrophe in, and put an S. She's my best friend. She is my best friend. Good. And the last one, which is tricky, it is. It is. What do you think the contraction of that is? If you said it's, you're right. Now, boys and girls, this kind of it's stands for it is. And we use the apostrophe. Like, it's a beautiful day out today. It is a beautiful day out today. I need to get a drink. I have a tickle in my throat. I think that will help. All right. So, when you're using the contraction of it is, you're saying it's. You're dropping the I. You're putting the apostrophe in. But remember, it still stands for it is. If you can say, it is a beautiful day out today, then it's a beautiful day out today, it works. Remember, these are pronouns, words that take the place of a noun, plus a verb, which is an action word. I am, I'm, you are, you're, we are, we're, they are, they're, he is, he's, she is, she's, it is, it's. A pronoun with a verb, we are making a contraction out of them. Whew, that was hard work. Going on. Number 4, homophones. We have worked with synonyms, which are words that mean about the same thing, like enormous and gigantic. We have worked with antonyms, which are opposites, like tall and short. Well, today we're working with homophones. Now, homophones are words that sound the same when you say them, but they are spelled differently and they have different meanings. So look at this. This is one of the posters from my room at school. It says homophones. Words that sound the same but have different meanings. Maybe I should get it a little closer, okay? And usually different spellings. Look at how many homophones we have. These are listed alphabetically, so they start with add and add, ate and ate, bear and bear, bee and bee, blue and blue. I'm not going to go over all of them with you, but you can see we have a lot of homophones in the English language. So let's look down here. I wrote some sentences, and I want you to think about which word is correct in the sentence. All right, number 1. Well, I don't have them numbered, but we'll do the first one. The whole class laughed. Well, this says whole, H-O-L-E. This says whole, W-H-O-L-E. But one of them is correct. And the way we know is kind of by the context they're in. That means the words that are in the sentence. The whole class laughed. Which one do you think's right? Do you think it's H-O-L-E or W-H-O-L-E? If you said the second one, you're right. Good job. This is an amount. It's all of the kids. It's the whole class. It's not a hole in the ground that you're digging with a shovel. That's this kind of hole. Next one. A lion's mane is long. Notice I have an apostrophe S with lions. That is not a contraction. That is showing the lion possesses something. Okay, it's the lion's mane. Belongs to him. But which mane do you think is right? M-A-N-E or M-A-I-N? Which one? If you said M-A-N-E, you are correct. Good job. A lion's mane is the hair that's around his head. It makes him look large and dangerous. All right. This kind of mane would be like, what's the main idea of the story? Or I'm going to go down Main Street. All right. So we need this kind of mane, M-A-N-E. Let's try one more. The wind blew hard. The wind blew hard. I have 2 choices of blue here. They're pronounced the same, they're spelled differently, and they mean something different. Which one's right? If you said B-L-E-W, you are correct. That is the past tense of blow. Okay? The wind blew hard. This blue is the color blue. You know, if I were writing a sentence like my favorite color is, you would pick this one, blue, because blue is a color. But that's not what the sentence says. It says the wind blew hard. Again, you have to think about what the sentence is talking about. All right? Whew. I will be reading a book to you in a different video called Dear, Dear. And it's all about homophones, and we'll have some fun with that. But that's in a different video. Down here, I wanted to talk about this, and even adults have trouble, so it's okay. This says your, and this says your. So they're really homophones, but we use them differently. Your, with the apostrophe, is the contraction of you are. You're a wonderful student. You are. But when we spell your, Y-O-U-R, that means you possess something. That is your book. Not my book or anybody else's book. It's your book. So be very careful with how you use these. Here's its and its. Oh my goodness. This one has an apostrophe. That stands for the contraction, it is. Okay? It is. Remember I said, it's a beautiful day out today. It is. Look at this it's. The only difference is it doesn't have an apostrophe. That's because this one shows possession. Like, put the violin back in its case. The violin's case. Its case. And the last one down here, there and there. And there's another there too, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. There is a contraction of they are. All right? There. They're my best friends. They're my best friends. But do you see this there? Oh, that's a possessive pronoun, okay? There, like I am going to their house. Their house, not my house. So we need to be very careful of these words down here that are homophones and have different meanings. And something else, if you think that spell check is going to check this, you're wrong. You know, spell check just checks to see if you spelled a word right or wrong, not if you used it properly. So be very careful of those homophones. Okay, we're up here. A couple things we have to talk about that you're going to be learning about this week. Predictions. When a good reader reads a story, you're always kind of thinking ahead. You're taking in the illustrations and what you've already read, and you're trying to put two and two together, and you're trying to figure out what's going to happen in this story. What's going to happen next? I haven't read it yet, but you know, you do this when you go to a movie. You're always thinking like, oh, what's going to happen in this plot? Okay? What are the characters going to do? And you're thinking ahead. So you make predictions as you're reading. Now, it doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. It's not like you get bonus points if you're right, okay? It's just you're actively reading. And then as you read, you're going to confirm whether your predictions are right or wrong. All right? So you're reading along and you think something's going to happen to a certain character, and maybe it does. And if it does, that's a confirmation. You got it right. And if it doesn't happen, well then you have to make a new prediction. So you revise what you think. Oh, this happened instead of this. Now I kind of have to revise my thinking and change it and make a new prediction. It's a way of keeping you mentally engaged in this story. So that's a good comprehension strategy to use. We talked about that when we read There's a Bear on My Chair. And remember, the mouse disappears and the bear doesn't know where he's going. And I said, make a prediction. Where do you think that mouse is? And I'm not sure what your prediction was. If you said he went to the bear's house and crawled in his bed, you were right. But if you said the mouse went somewhere else, then you would have to kind of think about, oh, what happened, and revise your thinking. All right? And the last one is plot. Okay, so when we talk about a story, fiction has characters, and it has a setting. So the setting is, where is it happening? Even the time period it's happening, like Brave Bessie happened a long time ago. Some stories are set in present day. Some stories could be the future, all right? But then when you actually get into the story, you have the plot, and that's just really the story, the events that happen. And usually good stories will have a problem and a solution. So in the story, and I think you've read this already, the art project, there is a problem in that story. Can you tell me what it is? Okay, so the problem is this class wants to enter an art contest, but they don't have the art supplies they need. So they have to be really good problem solvers and think about what they can do. Because the art room is out of supplies, their classroom's out of supplies, what should they do? That's the problem. And then sometimes there are several steps to the solution. How can that problem be solved? Well, one little boy thinks maybe we could have a bake sale. He tries to come up with a solution. But they said, they just didn't have enough time to do that and raise the money. But Pablo comes up with a different idea. And remember, how can we protect Earth? Okay, that's what these stories are about. He says, you tell me. Okay, he says, why can't we use some of our paper like in the recycling bin? And we can figure out how to use that. So we don't have to use new paper. We can use what's in the recycling bin. So the class figures out a project they can make with some old string and some hangers and some old paper. Can you tell me what they make? Yes, they make little origami cranes. Those are so fun to make. And then they make like a mobile, where you have the cranes hanging from string and they're floating around. And they entered the contest, and I think they won a prize for like most creative use of resources of what they had. So they solved the problem with the materials, and they also helped protect our Earth because they recycled paper that was old and supplies that were old. Remember, paper comes from trees. So no new trees needed to be cut down. You'll be reading another story called The Woodcutter's Gift this week. And there is definitely a problem and a solution in that story too. So think about it as you're reading it. I'm not going to give it away. All right? Okay, we covered a lot today. I know that it's hard to sit through all this, but this is really important learning that you should be doing. Even though it's May, we have to keep forging ahead, working hard so we're ready to get to 3rd grade. If you need to come back to this, come back to it again. You don't just have to watch it once. You can watch certain parts of it if you're unsure or you need a little extra practice. All right? Have fun this week. It's a good week for different lessons and good stories this week, so I hope you enjoy it. And I will also be doing a little bit of work with this on some Screencastify videos to go a little deeper. All right? Thank you so much. You have a great day. Bye.